All right, guys, today I want to talk about gi or no gi. It's been a hot topic for pretty much as long as I've been in jiu-jitsu or grappling. Since like 2003, there's always been a thing, and even before that, gi or no gi, right? If you put a gun in my head and force me to choose one style over the other, because I really enjoy both pretty equally, if you put a gun in my head and force me to choose, it would be no gi. It's what I did first, and I think there's certain ways you have to adapt to it. There's certain handles you have to create and figure out where in a gi you can just grab the gi. That being said, I don't really consider them different. The objective is the same, regardless of what you're wearing. Obviously, gi is a slower pace typically, because you can't just use athleticism for everything like you can with no gi. And I think that's what turns people off from no gi is the fact that if you're hyper athletic, you can kind of get away with just being athletic and not really knowing a whole lot, and you can not get tapped. Where in gi, you have a lot of chokes to worry about and a lot of grips on the sleeves, where in no gi, you just don't have that. I'm not of the camp of some guys that I came up with, through the ranks where, they both run schools and they both, do 4 or 5 days a week of gi and 1 day of no gi, and they think that no gi is not real grappling and it's barbaric and it's bullshit and it's not jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is based on, techniques and concepts. It's not based on clothing, right? That's my opinion. Anyone in the comments can debate me on this. It's just my opinion. But it's they really are the same thing to me. The objective, if I knee cut guard pass you to side control and tap you with a Kimura gi, and then I do it no gi, nothing really changed other than the clothes that are being worn, right? I really did the same set of techniques. I don't like debating with people because we all have our opinions, and I don't really care what other people think. You can live your life and think a certain way. But with jiu-jitsu, there's always people, well, jiu-jitsu without a gi is not jiu-jitsu. It's submission wrestling. But technically, even gi grappling is submission wrestling. You're wrestling on the ground until someone gets a submission. You just don't have the rules of traditional wrestling, right? In terms of what do I recommend for beginners, I would maybe, and depending on age, I'm 43 and I've been training jiu-jitsu or grappling since I was 20, so it's a little bit different. If someone my age at 43 wants to start, I would suggest gi because it's a slower pace. I think they can concentrate more and learn more. But if someone in their 40s wanted to start no gi, I think that's fine too. I think no gi will play to someone older starting a little bit better. I do not think that gi is safer by any stretch. I have guys that will drop in from other gyms that come here, and they will not come on a no gi day. They don't like it. They think that no gi is dangerous and that gi is safer. My fingers, that's what normal pinky should look like. That's what this one looked like. That's all gi. All this damage, that's from gi. So gi is not safer, especially if you're doing judo takedowns like I do, because I'm a black belt in judo as well. And if you don't do gi takedowns, people break in grips. That stuff hurts. Okay, this happened in jiu-jitsu on the ground. That doesn't happen in no gi. There's a lot more slippage in no gi. I actually think gi grappling, because of the grips and people breaking grips, can be more dangerous. Foot locks are obviously a lot harder to get out of gi. But that's something you need to work on anyways. You shouldn't be cranking someone hard in training, regardless if it's gi or no gi. So at the end of the day, I think you should try both. If someone who trains with me, I have people that are very, very good on the ground, but they refuse to put a gi on, so I don't promote them because the belt, it's just you wear this with the gi, you don't wear this without a gi. Some schools do. I want people that train with me to be balanced. I don't care if you have a preference. Okay, you love gi, you don't really want to do no gi. Do no gi 1 day a week and do gi 3 days a week. Consequently, okay, if you really love no gi, do 1 day of gi a week. It's just balance. We don't walk around in rash guards and shorts in the real world. If you're looking at it from protecting yourself, we wear clothes, we wear pants, we wear jackets. So, self-defense, they're both going to benefit you because it's the movements again and the techniques that are going to save you, not so much the clothing that people are wearing. Also, gi chokes, obviously you can use this with a jacket or a hoodie. So, gi has a few advantages as far as self-defense goes, because again, self-defense is something that I have my own opinions on. But they're both beneficial regardless of what you want. And I really don't see much of a difference in them other than what I've stated. I think, it's jiu-jitsu, and more broadly it's grappling. Like jiu-jitsu without a gi is still jiu-jitsu in my opinion, despite what some of my former coaches and former teammates think. Again, that's my opinion at the end of the day. But I think you should do the style that interests you the most and have fun with it. And to me, at the end of the day, they are the same thing with minor differences.